Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on January 18th, 2024. Sorry, 2025, so much for that. At approximately 9 p.m. PST. Now, I've made it my life's purpose to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools that I personally use to guide virtually every movement I make. Now, with that in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have literally worked for thousands of others with varying degrees of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, today we're going to be looking at health, at physical health, a new approach. Couple of things to get straight. Number one, I am not a medical doctor. Medical anomaly? Certainly. Medical doctor? Not at all. So, what I'm about to convey to you literally are things to do in addition to working with the medical profession. Okay, understand, I've been told a lot of things over the years that I have found little flaws in. Not the least of which, I guess on the extreme side, found out that if you're diagnosed dead, it doesn't necessarily mean you are. It just means you've dropped below the threshold that modern tech can tell. Okay, but we'll get to all of that and ways to reactivate nerves, which you get told from what I gather cannot regenerate. We're about to cover that funny little thing. Whether you believe me or not is not the relevant concern. Whether you are open to giving things a shot and experiencing something you haven't tried yet, that will be the be all and end all of it. But before we get into it, we have storm handling tech in the background, making certain that all of that runs properly. So this is a good thing. Okay, hats off to Storm for the work he's been doing. Okay, now, then we have LA Moon in the background. Well, she sometimes is in the room here. Don't know if she'll make it today, but I do know this. She keeps a very close eye on what my health is doing to make sure I don't drop dead on you. Okay, and other than that, we have Robert White. You are in with the gold today. Okay, I don't think so. And Robert goes, we are not doctors. We will take a look at it for you. Absolutely. Now, here's the thing. And I know for an absolute certainty this works. I'm going to take it from the mild standpoint first. Okay. Where it comes to your body. Okay. Understand, if you're on medication, stay on it. It may well be why you're feeling better. And that, by the way, applies to whether it's a physical illness, a mental illness, it doesn't matter. It's a dis-ease. And if you're on a medication and you're feeling a little better, odds are that's why. So stay on the thing. If your doctor is worth their salt, what they'll do is they'll keep an eye on your blood work. And if your body is no longer requiring that medication, they'll back you off it. You can certainly ask them about it, but do not make the mistake of going, oh, I feel better, I don't need it. Way too many people do that. Okay, and what ends up happening is your body goes into literally a system shock because it's gotten used to working with the meds already. Now, I will tell you, I've shown you my handshake before. Everybody has some sort of glitch. Now, not everyone can do it, but I literally, with my hand shaking too much, I literally will focus on it, and utilizing mind over body, I can slow it down. Now, here's the neat little part. For those of you, Robert, I could not agree with you more. Robert goes, it's hard to stay on it if the pharmacies can't get the drug in it to take it. Absolutely. And this is where you kind of have to learn new techniques. Okay. Now, for those of you that there are medications that you can work with, if you can't get the actual medication, talk to the people around you. Find out natural remedies. Okay. Because if you can't get to an actual pharmacy, naturopathic approaches do work. Diet certainly helps. Now, I'm no dietitian. I'm still on the front of the belief for my system, if it's not moving, the odds are it's fair game. Okay, but when we take a look at muscle problems, we'll start there because they're the easy ones. Let's assume for a moment that you're not feeling feeling your feet. Okay, and lots of people have it. Now, I believe, and I might be mistaken on the term, I believe that that's called neuropathy. Okay, if you can feel if you don't have the right blood flow, there's a couple of things you can do. And again, doctors are beneficial for most people. Okay, but if you put your feet flat on the floor and you can feel the floor below your feet, okay, your feet can be rebuilt. The nerves can be regenerated. Now, I know most doctors will tell you no, they can't. Okay, well, that's a little overstated. They won't certainly grow back overnight. And some people, if you're an extreme case, as in your foot, your leg has been removed, or your hand for that matter, yeah, it's not going to just automatically grow back. I will tell you, it can. Okay, but that is a very extenuating circumstance. However, if it's still there and all you're having trouble with is feeling it, couple of things you can do. If your feet are flat on the floor and you can feel it under your feet, okay, put your feet down and literally, if you have to watch them, absolutely do. You start with lifting your toes up. Okay, don't try and lift them up one at a time. This is not going to work that well. Okay, not in all likelihood, and if it does, that's fantastic. But you put your foot flat on the floor and lift your toes. Okay, by doing that, now it may be slow to start, it probably will be, but by starting slowly, you'll start getting the nerves to relay. See, we're told that nerve cells don't regenerate. And I'm not going to argue the point, but I will tell you this. The cells that are around the nerve can be reprogrammed to carry a nerve relay. That is done by number one, belief, and number two, effort. Okay, so when you are sitting there with your foot on the floor, or for that matter, let's say your hand is kind of gimped up a little. Okay, take your hand, even if it's closed, if it's knotted in a fist. Okay, find a way to open it and see if you can feel the fingertips. Even if you can't control the hand, if you can feel the fingertips, you got something to work with. Okay, now you'll probably find it if you're listening to this and not looking at the video. What I'm doing, you take your hand, put it on a table. Okay, you may have to use your good hand or somebody else's to straighten the fingers out to start with. But put the weight on it and then lift the fingers. They won't move much to start with. You're not looking for it to move much. You're looking for it to move at all. Okay, and that's where things change. Now, I find it fascinating the number of people I've talked to that do not understand this. Mind you, most of them have never been told. Most of you probably weren't told that nerves will regenerate. Matter of fact, you were probably told they won't. But I've seen enough, never mind myself, I've seen enough situations with over 100,000 clients, better than 60,000 of those were on individuals with relationship complications. Okay, health issues, you name it, and many times that's where the relationship complication comes. The thing is, put your hand palm down. Okay, if you can't get it open, let's say all you can do is look at a closed fist because it's locked up. Still, check the fingertips. If you can feel the pressure on the end of the finger, your nerves are working all the way through. Now you just got to remind the muscles. Okay, sometimes, and this is why physiotherapists will physically, if your legs aren't working, they will physically lay you on your back and then put one hand under the knee, the other hand they'll put on the foot, and they will literally force the leg to curl up and extend. What you're doing is teaching the body it's teaching the nerves how to actually refire. If the nerve itself is actually damaged, the cells around it will reprogram of their own accord. Now, hopefully this is making sense. Okay, now that's simply on gross motor. Okay, well, fingers aren't really known as gross motor. Okay, but if your hand is closed up, that's one thing you can do. The other issue, of course, is the arm. If you've got full feeling on your arm, and it's easy to tell if you got feeling, take your fingers and just run them down it. If you really want to make certain of it, get somebody you trust to grab a pen and gently, a pen, a pencil, doesn't matter. A fork will work. Something that they can just touch your skin with, and you can determine whether you feel it. If you do, your nerves are working. The limb is possible to rebuild, but it's going to take time and effort. Okay, now there isn't a soul out there that is not a first responder. And these are techniques that whether you're a pauper living on the street or a multimillionaire living in a penthouse, these tools still work because the body is still the body. Okay, and again, if you've got a problem with it, you can contact me really easy. At the top of the stream, there's a neat little link that goes to buymeacoffee.com/innervoicej. That link will get you to me. Will get you to the consultation line to me. Okay, I've been dealing with these kinds of problems for people for literally, in my case, 51 years. Okay, yeah, I started kind of on the young side. But what we have to realize when you start looking at the pharmacies, this is just in deference to you there, Robert. The pharmacies can't get the drug into the building, which is fine. It's a pain in the neck. Okay, but remember, all pharmaceutical stuff started from Mother Nature. The component parts are already there. So work with what you can. But remember, you got to keep in mind that all of it is possible. Okay, now I wouldn't be holding my breath expecting a limb to grow. Most of you, my guess is, don't have the capacity to regenerate limbs just yet. But getting the muscles to work is just absolutely child's play. But it does require effort. Now, the other organ that we can look at really easily, if you're wearing glasses, which as you can see I do, you're told once you start wearing glasses, your eyes will collapse. You'll have to get stronger and stronger glasses. I'm telling you, you've been misled. Okay, well, more to the point, you haven't had it explained why your eyes collapse. Okay, now I was fortunate. I took a course in optics. This said, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Okay, the eye itself is constantly making micro adjustments to see. Now, here's the thing. The moment you put glasses on, okay, what happens is these lenses lock the light coming in on one angle only. The eye cannot make quick micro adjustments to work. So the muscle in the eye atrophies. So what's the key? Well, number one, if you have to wear glasses to see, absolutely keep them on. But we're going to teach you how to get off of them. Now, this will not necessarily work for everyone. Okay, I'm not going to guarantee it's going to work for you. I can absolutely tell you what I'm about to lay out for you worked for me and has worked for other people. But here's the kicker. Okay, let's assume for a moment you've got to stay on. You've got to keep your glasses on so you can function at all. That's no problem. Get yourself a normal sheet. And you can absolutely get a sheet with a large letter, like have somebody put a large, as in take an 8.5 by 11 sheet, and have somebody absolutely draw out simple idea, the letter E. Okay. Operation Shutdown, how are you? Glad you could join us. Now, you get somebody to take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and write out, just draw out the letter E. Now, just so that everybody is absolutely aware, give me one moment here. Nice part about videos, I can actually do this. Now, this is the part that any one of you can do, and it doesn't require money. It requires a pen, a felt pen, and a piece of paper. Now, 8.5 sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11, standard sheet. Pull this out so I can actually write on it. All I'm doing is drawing out what I'm referring to. Now, they can do this simply or they can thicken it up, but keep it simple. When I said an E, I mean literally an E. Okay? Now, if you can see it real clearly at that size, work with it until it comes down to a smaller print. And all you do is concentrate on simply the color black. Pull it as close to your face as you have to. Okay? So you take the sheet of paper and bring it as close to your face as you absolutely require it. Then, once you can see it at all, move it a little away from you so that you can still see it. When it starts to get a little blurry, move it, you stop for a moment, you concentrate, focus on what you could see, and bring it into balance. It literally is a question of mind over body. Now, at this point, like I can push mine out now. For me, it gets to be that size. And that's pretty much as far as my arm goes. Obviously, you can put it on the wall and step back. Now, if I do this, and again, this boils down to in all likelihood somebody else doing it for you. So all I'm doing here, I'm just going to do two of them at once. Now, as you can see, what I've done is drawn three threes, each one inside the next. Okay? You take that, you hold it as close as you need to, as is required to be able to see it. Then you move it away. Now, with my eyesight, I used to have a problem, and this is why I said this works, because it worked for me. Okay, I did it myself. So, okay, I used to holding my eyes and my glasses right here, all of what? A foot, maybe 14 inches away from my shoulder. I couldn't physically see my glasses. Okay, now I hold the paper at arm's length, as you can see. I can read that smaller E. So I can actually go smaller. But I'm just curious at this point. I just put a fourth E in there. Okay. Now, at that size, I can still read it. This is from being, well, at the time that I checked it way back in 2007, I was at minus 5 3/4 in one eye and minus 6 in the other. So I was one step shy of legally blind. Kind of amazing that I can read at that distance now, isn't it? Because that E that I drew in there is only, I'm guessing, about a half an inch tall. But it boils down to this. Your eyes don't, once you put glasses on, your eyes don't adjust. Okay? This is why when you take them off again, all of a sudden you're having trouble seeing. And it looks like your eyesight is collapsing. Well, what's happening is your eye muscle is atrophying. Therefore, if you don't require your glasses to function, okay, what do we got here? Oh, Operation Shutdown, that's an excellent question. What operation is as asked? He goes, Keith, I am at the age where I may start to need reading glasses. Will these techniques help for that? The answer, in my opinion, is unequivocally yes. Okay, so what you do, okay, and where is it? I'm just grabbing a book that, that I can work with. It just so happens to be one I wrote, but all you do, make sure your lighting is still good. Okay, but when you start, even now, okay, Blue Cruz, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And by the way, Robert had the gold, Operation came in with the silver, and Blue Cruz, you are in with the bronze. Now, what you do there, Operation, take your novel, okay, novel or newspaper, whatever you're reading. If it's even a little fuzzy, bring it back closer to clarify it so you can see it clearly. Then take your eye. Now, then the books, they'll try English. Birth of the Wolf Pack. All the printing in it is done in 13 point. Most novels are written in 10. Okay, but bring the book close enough that you can read it easily. Then, as soon as you've done that, push it back a little further. If it gets a little blurry, stop for a moment and focus to clarify it. It does help, by the way, if you focus on quite literally a period, just that little tiny little pixel. Focus on that. By the way, a static book, an actual novel, and yeah, these two are available at the link above. But these books, the reason these work is because the page doesn't change. It won't have as quick an effect with digital books. Okay, but if you do this when you're reading, like absolutely, if your eyesight is starting to get a little fuzzy, absolutely be certain you still wear your glasses when you're driving. Okay, I wear my glasses when I'm driving and when I'm working on the computer. Okay, when I'm working this way. If I'm writing on the computer, I don't have to wear my glasses because of the fact I can blow the printing up. Okay, but on this setup, I can't. But if you exercise your eyes, they will get strong again. Okay, and honestly, operation, if you can avoid using the reading glasses, I personally strongly recommend it. Now remember, if you're starting to get headaches, this is when, the old saying, no pain, no gain, it's a garbage saying. In my opinion, if you're causing pain to yourself, this is your body's warning you you're not doing the right thing. Now, here's the thing, and make a note of this one. I've got it listed. I didn't think to open it up. There's a book out called The Bates Method to Better Eyesight Without Glasses. Okay, now it was written, I believe, back in the 40s. I have the ISBN number for it. Okay, with that in mind, that book explains why the eyes work the way they do, and gives you absolute concrete exercises that I personally actually put to use. This is why I recommend the book. I know the tools work, but I will tell you, the best tools in the world are absolutely useless if you don't put them to work. Okay, but that said, there comes a point where you're going to have to look at it and go, what am I doing with it? Okay, I'm a firm believer, if you do not use the muscle of the eye, it will atrophy. And when that happens, now you've got a longer road to heal. Doesn't mean it's impossible. Okay, now there are places where you can get an actual one with little eye charts and put that on your wall. Absolutely you can. I've got one around here somewhere. But what I just showed you here, this is an eye test. Okay, right there is an eye test for you. Doesn't cost a whole lot. You probably have the material at home. So it may be in your best interest to look into it. Okay, and again, the other thing to remember, especially where your eyes are concerned, do not read for hours and hours on end. You're likely to find that it tires you out. Matter of fact, all these neat little tools. Okay, when I started rebuilding my energy levels, it was absolutely an issue. Okay, it was absolutely an issue of taking things one step at a time. Now, when you start working with your eyes, and we'll get back to the other muscles in a minute. When you start working your eyes, the first thing to disregard, if you're told, oh, your eyesight's collapsing, you're going blind. Okay, certainly talk to the doctor, but ask him an interesting question. I would recommend you ask him quite seriously, do they have to collapse? Okay, I'll tell you, as long as the eyeball is there, it doesn't have to collapse. Okay, I'm going to be working on a young lass's eyesight. My other half is legally blind. But years ago, she had light reception. Something collapsed. The fact that the eye is still there and the fact the nerves are still there, I'm absolutely certain that these tools I'm working with, we're going to be able to get her eyesight working, at least the light reception. Okay, how far I can take it, that remains to be seen. Ultimately, it's up to her. Right now, you got both your eyes working. Take care of them. Okay. Now, I will tell you, dim light, yes, it's harder to read. This does not mean it's bad for your eyesight. It means you got to concentrate a little more. Okay. One of the things we got to remember with that, you're still dealing with nerves coming into your eye. You're still dealing with signals being sent back and forth. You have dominant control over that. And now all you got to do is decide what you're going to let happen. Okay. Where it comes to muscle. Okay. Muscle, again, can be built. Now, I'm no physical trainer. Okay. I'm really not. I simply know what has worked for me. Now, paying to go to a gym and all that pomp and bother absolutely can work if you're motivated by watching other people. Okay. But myself, I just grabbed a set of free weights. Now, here's the neat thing about free weights. You desire to start increasing your weight capacity. You desire to build your muscles. A milk jug full of water will still give you weight. Okay. It's one of these things that works like an absolute charm. Whole pile of different do-it-yourself, stay-at-home exercises that you can work with. As a matter of fact, this neat little thing, it's over there, so I gotta get up. Now, you're gonna love this, because just about everybody can find one. Now, I lucked out. Well, sort of. When I had my stroke, I ended up with this thing handed to me to work with. It is simply a rubber ring. Where do you find one? Here's a bizarre idea. An inner tube. Yeah, I know, it's not electronic. Okay, take a piece of rubber. Where are we here? Oh, there you go. Yeah, Blue goes, I love being the bronze winner. I just don't know what I won. Well, no, what you won was you got through the door third. Okay. The reality is I don't have a whole pile of money to send people. I really don't. But the tools I offer, when you're coming in that early, the tools I offer, I go back over them, but you get to hear them the first time. In time, I will manage to do something more involved. For the moment, I've got to get my income up to $2,500 a month so I can live comfortably. Everything after that is surplus. Now, where it comes to improving your strength, and for that matter, your flexibility, a simple band of rubber, okay, an inner tube will work quite nicely. Even a thick balloon, okay, and all you got to do is just put it around both wrists, okay, and just work to push them apart. When it gets too easy to do, okay, you double up, make the thing tighter, and then it takes more exercise. But doing this will literally work your muscles. It's resistance training. You do not require a physical instructor. Okay, you require an idea of what to do and a whole pile of self-discipline. Bear in mind that this little band can be used on your hands, it can be used on your legs, doesn't matter. Okay, quite seriously, you can set it up to work on your neck muscles. You got to remember, all muscle exercise is is repeated resistance training. Okay, yes, the machines at the gyms have fancy looking tools. Okay, they really do. They do, the ones you have at home may not have a whole lot of bells and whistles, but they work. Okay, I mean, let's face it. Anybody that drives has certainly got one of these, where you're looking at building muscle back up. Simply take a tire, and you don't even have to have one with the rim on it, just a tire. Okay, a normal car. Pick it up, roll it over in your driveway. And I mean literally from the side, lift it up and push it over. An idea, if you're looking for different ways of exercising, you can always watch the Ironman competitions on the TV, or go down and talk to anybody that exercises. What, pray tell, was that? I love notes, and I don't know what. It's always handy. Where'd we go? I did that wrong. The neat part about it is when we are talking about exercise, especially when we're talking about sense of touch. Okay, absolutely. See if you can feel something. If you can get the whole limb working again. Because you start with the point where you've got feeling, and you work out from there. Where it comes to your feet to get them working so you can actually walk again. Okay, and this does apply even if you're in a wheelchair. Okay, the one limit, you gotta have the foot there. But even if you happen to be in a wheelchair, if you can feel the bottom of your feet on the floor, or on the footing where your feet rest on the wheelchair, if you can feel them, you're already in a good point. Okay, you're already ahead of the game. That tells you the nerves are there. Now, it's going to take time. Okay, it absolutely will. It's going to take consistent effort. If you don't put the effort in, you also don't get the benefit. Okay, now, I'm a firm believer everything can be regenerated. Granted, massive physical complications, bit of a problem. Okay, like I'm not expecting to repair my right leg. Okay, the left leg I'm working on. Okay, but that's because the right one was damaged so severely that it's developed its own way of operating. Okay, but if you've got the limb, if you've got the appendage, and you've got the feeling already, you can start working on it immediately. Now, I digressed from the issue of the eyes. Okay, you put your glasses on, the light comes through your eyeball, and it hits the back of the eye, and then the brain turns it over. But the eye is constantly making micro adjustments. So it's always exercising. The moment you put a pair of glasses on, okay, the light only comes through one direction, because the glasses don't change. So the only way to alter your eyesight there is to turn your head. Okay, and because the light is now locked in, those just annoy me half the time. Because the light is locked into one path, you're going to have to work to get it to shift. Now, this is why, if you have trouble seeing, do this when you're sitting down. Okay, and yes, that literally means if your eyes don't work well, get a book. Even if you'll notice that the title is a lot bigger. Okay, even if that's what you start with, take the book while you're sitting down, take your glasses off, set them down, take the book, and I kid you not, literally touch the book to the end of your nose if you have to. Bring it as close as you have to. I bet you can't read if you put the book that close. Bring the book as close as you have to even be able to read the big writing. Okay? Then you move it a little bit out. As soon as you hit that unfocused point, bring it back. Now, read a little bit and periodically move it a little further. Okay? You'll notice if you are watching the eye, watching the writing, as you move your eyes and move your hand away, you'll be able to hold that image. Now, you may look at that and go, well, that's just memory. You know what it looks like. Got news for you. All reading is nothing but memory and pattern recognition. So you work with that. As it gets out, this one is written with different size print. Okay. So you start with the biggest, go to the second, then do it again with the small, with the thin, with the little writing. Bring it back close enough that you can see it, and then move it a little out until it hits just out of focus. Bring it back a fraction and read it again. Do this on a repeated basis, and just like any muscle, you will end up being able to get it to work again. Now think about it. We talk about, okay, your eyes aren't working, so let's shine a really bright light into it. Now I will tell you, laser surgery works. In many, many cases, they've done a phenomenal job with technology. I'm just a firm believer that if you can reprogram your own eyes without the addition of the medical intervention, you'll be in better shape than in the long run. Where it comes to muscles, that's the easy part. We were talking about some of the muscle training. Where it comes to getting a hand to respond or a foot to respond, put the appendage on the table or on the floor, flat. See if you can feel the pressure on the ends of your fingertips. Okay, or under your feet. If you can, you got something to work with. Okay, now, to get the muscles working, you start with it flat on the surface, and then you deliberately lift the muscle, lift the toes. Okay, but remember, more often than not, all the toes are going to come up at the same time. There's not many people that can move one toe at a time. Now, yes, fingers you can move one at a time, clearly. Okay, and again, it boils down to this. Take your hand. Now, most of you, if you've got nerve problems, the hand is closed up. So, find a way to work something into it. And, okay. Let's say your hand is closed up tight. Okay. Closed up in a fist and you can't get it open for whatever reason. Okay. Still do the same thing. Work your other hand into it. See if you can feel pressure on the end of the finger. If you can, you got something to work with. At this point, now you start working with it. And here's a neat little trick. Most of you have it at home. You've got your hand in a fist. Okay? Take a pen and take a felt pen. And if you need to grab one, like I've got one, where is it? Here we are. Now, another felt pen, you notice it's got a smaller end. You've got the fist. Take the small end of the pen, put it inside the hand, inside the fingers. While you're pushing it in, pay attention to whether or not you can feel the pen passing. If you can, the nerves are working. Okay? So what you do is you get it popped in there. Now it's got the finger open a little. Take a bigger felt pen, pop it over the end, and now you can carry on forcing the hand open to start with. All we're looking at is simply getting it moving at all to start with. Okay, but repeatedly doing this by enlarging that hole, that grip, what you'll find is that eventually you can start getting it to open up. Now you can start working with it. Okay, because now you got a pen in there. You can feel the inside of it. You literally pick a finger. I will tell you, start with your index or the thumb, take your pick. And just simply look at them and watch them as you concentrate one word, heal. Now remember, this is in addition to anything that doctors or therapists are telling you. And I'm talking about physical therapists. Understand they've studied things. My guess is you yourself probably did not take a course in anatomy. I was fortunate when I was in high school. I got one. I used to know the names of all the bones. I don't worry about them. Okay. But doctors, teachers, therapists, odds are they've had a little better education regarding component parts. So, talk to them, learn what they're doing. Okay. Now, neat part about all of this is you don't have to believe it works. You simply have to have the drive to literally, if it boils down to it, force yourself to do some of these exercises. If it works, you'll know you'll be able to do it. Okay. Now, I'm running on a very limited time frame for a lot of reasons, but it does seem to be working reasonably well. So, once you can move the toes, okay, once you can take the toes and lift them just a little, this is good. You can also focus to curl your toes back towards you. They won't move a lot to start with, but as you work the muscles, they will get stronger and more flexible. And that is the key to healing. That and the fact you literally, and like I said, you don't even have to believe this is going to work, but I will tell you, more often than not, it does. It's a question of you've got to have the discipline to literally force yourself to do it. It may take a couple of weeks to even see any functional progress. This is where persistence comes in. Okay, stay focused on it, and you'll find that things do come into balance a lot better. Because remember, we are talking about being here for the long haul, not instantaneous gratification. Okay, this is literally just a question of determining you're not giving up on you. Okay, now, yeah, we're told as you get older, your body's going to start to collapse. Your eyesight's going to go. Your hearing's going to go. Okay, your sense of smell's going to go. It'd be really nice if they go, your body odor's just going to quit. That'd be so much nicer than the way it usually works. But I'm just a little twisted. Oh, Operation, the answer, I just caught that message. Operation Shutdown goes, you'll have to give us an update if you have any progress with your fiance's eyes. That we will absolutely do. Okay, because like I said, she is legally blind. She's got no light reception right now at all. Okay, but I am firmly convinced that with her one eye, I'll be able to do something with it. Or more to the point, I'll be able to guide her to do something. Operations going, Keith, do you recommend exercising every single day? Or is it better to take off days in between? Okay, best bet where it comes to your eyes. Okay, every second day. Where it comes to weight training, you work your heavy duty, your big muscles one day, your little ones the other, the next. Or, if you really want to get into a more organized pattern, exercise your legs on one day, exercise your arms and upper torso on the next. Okay. We can work out an exercise plan for you. I've got my own. And frankly, I'm walking because of it. Yes, I did like I said, I took a course in anatomy when I was in high school. I also had a phenomenal exercise teacher in the way of my grade 11 gym teacher, who taught me a lot of flexibility training and core strengthening. Okay, so yes, absolutely, again, and I'll put one together anyway, because I'm in the process of doing all of this. Okay, we will put it together, a plan that can be worked. Now, I am no physical trainer. Okay, I simply know what has worked for me and the people I've dealt with. Okay, but give me, sometime this week, I'll get it written down. I'll get an exercise plan put together that people will be able to work with. Okay, but it boils down to repetition, not massive amounts of weight. Okay, understand, I've got a goal for me to be able to curl 25 pounds by the end of this year. Okay, I've got that goal in mind. I know how to do it, but it's not done by starting off trying to curl 25 pounds. You start off lighter, and there is a progression to it. But everything is healable. I am absolutely convinced of this. Now, the reality is, if you're looking at a missing limb, or missing appendage, or even a missing finger, the odds are you're going to have a complication getting it to grow back. Yes, I'm a firm believer it can be done, but really the reality of it is you're talking about a massive, major shift. Now, I can sort of read what's on the computer, but not as well as I'd like. Okay, one thing I will tell you, and this is absolutely critical, okay, pick a time to get up in the morning. You desire your energy levels to come back on track. Pick a time to get up. Don't worry about when you're going to bed. Get up at the same time every day. Okay? Even, whether you're retired or whether you're still working, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what gender you are. Doesn't matter how old you are. Pick a time to get up. Okay? When you get up, and that's why this little thing comes in. This funny little book here lays it out in very simple form. Okay, that's believe in yourself and follow your dreams. That's the backbone to how I changed my life around. Where it comes to healing, realistically, start with the office, yes, but make certain where you're sleeping, where in your bedroom, you have no excess clutter. Again, don't take my word for it. You clear the energy out, clear the clutter up, the energy will flow more smoothly, and you will sleep better. Net result, you'll heal faster. Okay, and your recovery time, your concentration, your recall, all of it is connected. Okay, so by standing your ground on that, thank you very much, Storm. I just noticed, I'm betting I went past that, but Storm warned us a little bit ago, we're down to 10 minutes. All of these things take time. And again, these videos are short. Okay, they're only an hour long. Absolutely go back and listen to them. Okay. And again, if you've got a topic, a subject you'd like to look at, absolutely drop me a line, let me know. Now, I see we are down at the 5-minute mark here. So here's the thing. Tomorrow, Monday, we are going to be dealing with, where are we? No, my apologies, tomorrow, Sunday. We're going to be dealing with chakras, an enhanced approach. Then on Monday, we've got grocery shopping for the financially challenged. And understand, these techniques, they work for the challenged people. They also work for the ones that are affluent. Okay. Then on Tuesday, we're going to look at autism, a non-medical approach. Okay. I'm still working on next week, but if you've got a topic that you would like to cover, if you've got questions around anything, drop me a line, and if I know anything about it or have a theory about that sort of thing. Flubber, how we doing? Glad you could join us. Absolutely. Drop me a line, or if you're in the chat room, pop out a suggestion for a topic to work with. We will do our best to get to it. With this in mind, we're down to the last couple of moments here. So I want to say thank you so much for sharing your time with us tonight. Really appreciate you popping in. I will be back again tomorrow at 9 p.m. Pacific. Okay. Until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.